The Devils have a perfect opportunity. Filling a need with minimized risk and upside doesn't get too much better than that. Implications here, this is huge. Welcome to Devils Digest. Thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully, you'll be tuning in for the rest of the summer and hit the subscribe button to talk some more Devils hockey. So, draft later tonight. I'll be live for it as of right now. Devils don't have a first round pick. Maybe move back into it. Maybe make a trade. They do have the 3 second round picks, so we'll see there. Free agency. Maybe what more Devil fans are looking a little bit more toward, because we know this team, they're trying to win right now. There are a bunch of targets out there in free agency. They do have some cap space. Obviously, they just moved off of Erik Haula. So they're expected to be busy. I mean, their general manager went out there and said it. We're not coming back with the same team. So Tuesday, setting up to be a big day for the Devils. Now, Devils have a few things that they want to do. A few things that they have to clean up. We saw it last year. Jack Hughes went down. Center was a mess all season long. They never could find a fourth, third line center. Jack Hughes went down. Nobody could really replace him. And I mean, it's just tough in general to replace a Jack Hughes. But center was an issue all year long. It was a mess at the end of the day. And it's something where they should be their strongest. I mean, go around the division. There's not another team that has a better center duo than the Devils. Jack Hughes, Nico, Hischier down the middle. Yeah, not too much better. So when you look at those things, obviously, maybe you don't have to have the best bottom 6 center group, but, you need someone that's at least manageable. Well, reports coming out recently shows a potential player who can, at least fit that. Former Capital and Hurricane Evgeny Kuznetsov is looking to make a return to the NHL for the 2025-2026 season per his agent. This is something the Devils should be all over. Look, you look at what the Devils need. And the positions that they have to go out and have to get better at. Third line center is clearly something. Honestly, both center groups. But when you look at what the Devils need to do there, you don't want to spend high. That's not a position where, you go out and you give the big contracts, big numbers to. You have a need at top 6 wing. That's somewhere where you kind of put that money to. This is not a position where you go out and, you sell a first round pick. You go and you put a bunch of money into it. No, that's not this type of position. Your third line center, obviously you need him to be productive. You need him to do something well. Evgeny Kuznetsov in the past has done a few things well. I think he definitely fits. I mean, you go ahead and look. His final year in the NHL, a little bit of a disaster. Wanted out of Washington, didn't play very well there, was getting healthy scratch in the playoffs once he finally got traded to Carolina. It was a disaster. I'm not going to throw too much into it. The year before had a very nice year. 55 points, 43 assists. Those sound like third line center numbers to me. So when I look at what the Devils need, and they clearly need a top 6 winger. They clearly want to be aggressive in free agency. That's why a deal like Erik Haula happens. They want to be aggressive. To go out and get Evgeny Kuznetsov at probably a prove-it-year deal. 1 year, $1 million, right around $1 million, makes a lot of sense for New Jersey. To have a center who, has playoff experience, has been in the league for a while, knows what they're doing, and is eager for a new contract. Wants to come back and show that he can still play at the NHL level. He's still an NHL caliber player. 37 points in 39 games last season in the KHL is nothing to kind of just, brush off. No, it looks like he can still play. I mean, we've seen players do this before. Alexander Radulov, Ilya Kovalchuk. I'm sure you guys know who that is. who have gone over to the KHL, spent a little bit of time there, and then they decided that, well, NHL's a little bit better. Maybe they pay a little bit better. Maybe just a better environment for them. But, this is a player who's going to sign a 1-year deal, around $1 million. And when you look at the Devils, well, clearly they need a top 6 winger. Goaltending, well, backup, it looks like Jake Allen is getting some attention from other teams. I mean, that's something that's kind of been out there. Could they potentially trade him, trade his rights right before the draft? Those are some things that have been out there. But top 6 winger, third line center, backup goaltender, all things the Devils need. So when you have a number of needs, you kind of have to file them in, what's most important and kind of go from there. Most importantly is a top 6 winger. They need a little bit more. When you have players like Jack Hughes, Jesper, Bratt, Nico, Hischier, Timo, Meier, there's no reason you should be finishing 20th in the NHL in scoring. There's no reason your power play should go 0 for 16 in the playoffs. And I know there were injuries and a ton of things that happen. Well, how does that show up on the scoreboard? Can you go, oh, well, we were injured. We need an extra goal. Doesn't work like that. They have to go out and get a top 6 winger. So when you're kind of not in a horrible cap situation, I wouldn't call it great either. I mean, just over $14 million to play with when you definitely right now don't have your backup goaltender signed, and there are specific needs for the Devils. You have to find a way to cut costs. Arsenij Griciuk, signing him, that was one way. Cheaper, top 6 potential. That's one way to do it. But you want to have someone who is already kind of, established themselves, like a Nikolai Ehlers, someone they should be all over. So when you want to give that type of money and spend big, because those are the positions you spend big. Top 6 wingers, top 6 centers, number 1 defenseman. You spend big in those areas. You're not spending big at a third line center. And a player like Evgeny Kuznetsov, who is a year removed from a 50-plus point year, has shown that he can be a playoff performer. That's a guy where, you maybe give him that 1 year, $1 million deal. I don't even say maybe. It seems like a no-brainer to me. A player like Evgeny Kuznetsov, 1 year, $1 million. Can he play third line center? Probably. Probably do a pretty good job of it as well. Probably actually cheaper than Cody Glass. That makes sense. You file it and you see, top 6 winger is number 1. Don't really need to spend a ton at third line center. And that's the gift of having guys like Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. The kind of the important situations for centers. They have 2 of them that are some of the best in the league at doing those type of things. You don't need to go crazy at third line center. We shouldn't be talking about, signing centers, third line centers for $5 million. Doesn't make sense. You have 2 top centers in the NHL. It's just something to go out and get, have some productivity from it. But a player with, upside, needs a new deal, wants to come back to the NHL, probably knows it's his last chance. Well, those type of things put together show that he could be, better than, his contract. 1 year, $1 million. Doesn't work out. Well, you have a trade deadline. You have next year to reevaluate it. Those are the type of things that I'm sure Tom Fitzgerald is thinking about. Third line center, what do you want to see? Would you like to see Evgeny Kuznetsov on a 1-year contract? Let me know down in the comments. We'll be live later today for the draft. Hope you tune in and hope you guys hit the subscribe button for more Devils hockey. And I'll see you guys really soon.